Howdy everybody, and welcome to Nelson Creek Farm, where it is a beautiful Tuesday morning. It is November the 3rd. It is an election Tuesday in 2020, and I've been to town to vote. If you haven't voted, you don't have any right to gripe and complain about the outcome. So I don't want to hear any whining from anybody that didn't vote. And as long as I'm standing here, one of the first things we're going to get going this week as a project is we're going to replace these two pickets in this gate. Now, this has been this way for years. I just haven't had time to do it. But now that winter is coming on and the outside field work is done here at the farm, now's as good a time as any to get these repaired. I'm not going to get real crazy with this work on the gate because eventually this gate is going to be made wider so that we can get a garden tractor or riding lawnmower through it. To take care of the backyard. So right now though, we're just going to make it look somewhat presentable. As everybody knows, you should never paint anything outside if the temperatures are going to be below 50 degrees. Well, right now it's almost 60, even though it's the 3rd of November. And we're looking for a daytime high of around 70 or so. So what I'm going to do is select the back side or the side of the picket that will be up against the framework of the gate, paint that first so that I can attach it to the gate, and then we'll paint the face of it later on. But for right now, we're just going to do the one side. One place that I spend special attention on is the bottom, or any of the cut flat surfaces that have the pores exposed and open from being cut. The pores being in the strands of the wood. So I pay a little extra attention to trying to get that taken care of and sealed up, just for good measure. The reason why is to help keep moisture out of those cut ends and moisture wicking up into the fibers of the board, making the paint come loose later on or causing premature rot. Well, that's the last little bit of that paint that needs to be on that side of the boards, and we're getting a little bit of a shadow from one of the big pine trees, but that'll pass before too long. So anyway, that's it for painting the back side of these. And now I'm going to let you watch the paint dry. Yeah. Not. There's always one nail that doesn't pull out or behave or however. That's where a pair of these comes in kind of handy. What I can do is clamp that on there, and then with this rounded head I can roll that over this way, and it acts like a hammer, and it will pull that nail out. All right, there's the gate with the old pickets out of it, and the old pickets ended up making some nice kindling. We can get the camera down here. Yeah, they're kind of broke up, and there's a bunch of it laying right in there. So anyway, we got some more fire starter for the furnace should we need it. Now, as long as I'm working on this gate, I might as well put some more paint on the rest of the gate. It's going to be warm enough today. I think that the paint should have a fairly decent chance to dry before it does turn off cold. So we're going to start throwing a little paint on this old puppy. I've already scraped it, so that isn't a problem anymore or an issue. So yeah, we'll just throw a little bit of paint on here, especially right here where those two new pickets are going to go, because we won't be getting behind them for a while. So yeah, we're back to watching paint dry. Ha 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 ha. Alrighty, well, there's the gate all finished up. Now we can get on to touching up the screw heads on there. And yeah, that little project will be done. We'll get on to another one. When I say we're going to widen that gate on the sidewalk to the backyard or the back door of the house, we're going to build an arch over the top of it, something similar to this. Give it a little bit of visual appeal for what we're doing here at the farm. We want everything that is non-public space to look good at 20 feet. So it's the old 20-foot rule. So next spring we will get on to repairing the fence that's here behind me, putting in some new pickets, some new rails, and touching up the paint on a lot of it. We will also end up next year put some PVC lattice on this arch instead of the cedar lattice, because it's just flat out coming apart. Plus we're going to clean up that old nasty rose bush that's right there. Howdy everybody, and welcome to Wednesday, the 4th of November. Nice sunny day out, high 60s today. And while I'm waiting for all the hanging chads and missed punches to be counted, I decided it was a good day to come out and change the oil in my pickup. Yeah, pardon my arm. Anyway, there we go. And that's just about as nasty as how the election's running. Anyway, it's not my intention to tell anybody how to vote or whatever on this channel. That is definitely not why we are here. Just making a commentary a little bit on what's been going on with this election. Personally, I think it's going to be a big old foobar mess. But, you know, that's just me, in my own opinion. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up. We got a few things we got to do to this little pickup yet. I got to change both battery cables. I'm going to have to order some new ones. They come with some wiring, so that's going to be a fairly hefty job to get done. I may have a shop do that because I seriously doubt we're going to have any more good weather like today or tomorrow. And of course, I've got to order the cables, and it'll be a while before they come in. So yeah, we may have a garage do that. Because it sounds like starting Friday, it's going to turn off and start getting cold with a good chance of snow come Saturday. So, yeah, by the time you see this, we should have a new cabinet elected and in office for the White House, and, or however you put that. And, yeah, might even have some snow. So, anyway, stay tuned in the next couple of days here. We got lots of stuff going on to do around the farm while the weather's still decent, and we're bumping close to 70 degrees. Yeah, not bad for November. While I was at it, I decided I might as well take a little bit of time to take care of my pickup. So today's video isn't going to be much activity around the farm. I'm doing something I've been putting off for quite a while that needs to be done. So yeah, anyway, we may get to something here yet later today, but for right now, we're doing some maintenance, much needed maintenance and upkeep on my main form of transportation for not only myself, but hauling stuff for the farm as well. And that looks a lot better. One of the things I did was I purchased the last 2 Austrian pine trees that were in a pot at Home Depot the other day. I got them for half off. Those 2 trees will become my Christmas trees this year. I'll put some lights on them, and then next spring when the ground thaws back out, we'll take them out and transplant them. I think we'll continue on with that tradition of buying some of these in the late fall and using them as Christmas trees around the house and whatnot, and then taking them out and transplanting them in the spring. So far, touch on some wood, that tradition's been working out fairly well. Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, the 5th of November. We still don't have a president yet in the United States for the next 4 years. They're still counting all the little bits and pieces of ballots and whatever and fighting over them, which is par normal, I guess, anymore. Anyway, what I'm doing today is washing my windows so I can make a mad dash trip up to Idaho powder coating, because I forgot and have left the rims, the front rims, for the Ford 850 tractor sitting there now for the better part of a week or two. Plumb forgot about them. Anyway, I need to get those back so we can get them primed and painted today. And then tomorrow morning, I'll have the tires pulled off of the rims that they're on now, and then we'll remount them with new inner tubes if we need to on the rims that I'm getting back today that I'm going to paint. So that and a lot more coming up today, so you have to forgive me. I'm in a wee bit of a hurry. There's the wheels back from Idaho powder coating where they've been sandblasted and taken care of. Those are for the Ford 850 that's in the shop. My daughter Chelsea had made a comment to me here a while back about how it was nice when I had the multicolored Christmas lights up. The last couple of years I'd been running green and red, figuring that was Christmas colors. Well, I've gone to town and bought a bunch of boxes of multicolored lights, so yeah. Chelsea, we're going to have multicolored lights up again this year. Actually, what it boils down to is I'm bucking for a visit some evening from my kids and the grandkids for Christmas coming up. Yeah, yeah, anything I can do, yeah. I always put the lights up with the power on. In fact, there's one of those purple lights that my daughter loves so well. Just so I can see which bulbs are maybe loose and need to be tightened up into the sockets, or to see which one's burned out so I can replace it. And I do that as I'm hanging them. Now here is a good reason why I always check those lights in the sockets. If you can see that little brass tab in there that's up at the top of that socket, that is supposed to be bent down for the bottom, or that contact right there, to touch. Well, it wasn't. It was touching the side over here. You can kind of see that burn mark there on that right hand side. Yeah, so it arced out and blew the fuse in this brand new set of lights already. So yeah, that's another reason why I like to check all these as I'm putting them up. That little bottom contact in the socket was standing straight up, so it touched the side of the bulb on the where the other contact is touching, so it was a direct short. It's supposed to be bent over, so I took a pair of needle nose pliers and just pushed that little prong over a little bit, and it's working fine now. I usually try to fix these sort of things before I start hanging them up, but in the process of doing the video, a little different story today. Somebody was asking me the other day about that thing I'd made in the last video to change the light bulb on the pole out here in the driveway for the night light. The reason why I built it out of those plumbing parts was quite simple. To put it together was, at the time, just a few bucks. And I think today you're probably looking at closer to 10, 12 bucks for that same thing. But to buy a commercially made thing, you're looking 30, 35 bucks. So yeah, I'm saving a few pennies. Just like with this old tree pruner. It is got the little arm on it. You're supposed to have a rope. And there's a cutting blade comes out and goes through that little hook there in the end to trim tree limbs. And of course it's on a telescopic pole, and I've got it stretched out so it's about 10 or 12 foot tall, probably 10. Anyway, what I'm doing with this is, and I'm going to modify it, I'm going to get me some gray schedule 80 PVC, the electrical conduit, and make one with a hook in it. But for right now, this idea works pretty good. This roller is rusted to the top of that, and the roller doesn't turn. But that groove in that pulley, or that little roller, is a really slick place to put the wire for those Christmas lights, and that extra 10 foot of reach means I can reach up to the peak of the eave to put the lights up. And that wire sits right in there until I can get it draped over a hook that's screwed into the eave, and then that's how I mount the lights. Pretty slick, and it didn't cost me a penny. Here, I can show how easy that works. As I'm putting up the Christmas lights today, I noticed this post that holds up the front of the porch. It's been leaning for quite some time, but I see today that the boards have actually started to separate here on the corner. And when I shined a light down inside of there, there's a lot of wood rot in there. And we were kind of afraid of that. That's why this corner was starting to sink. So, yeah, sometime this winter, I'm going to have to do something to prop that up, because you can see that post was tapered, but this side here is almost vertical, if not starting to lean out that way some. Yeah, there's the happy fingers again. So, yeah, we got to have to do something to push that back up. In fact, it's even starting to come apart up at the top there where that pillar sits on that deal there. So, yeah, that post is slowly sliding to the west, so it needs to get pushed back to the east, or something needs to be done to jack up that corner of the porch of the house. Well, there they are. There's the last of the south and west side of the house's lights been put up. Skylar's onions have put on some nice sets this winter, so I've picked a bunch of them, and we'll plant those out in the garden next year. I've got a bunch more in the garage yet, even over that, so we should have a nice stand of onions to sell next year at the farmer's market, or to give away to friends and family. As long as I was harvesting onion sets along the driveway, I figured I might as well come over here to the foundation that is here north of the shop and pick some of the onions that are growing wild over here. You can kind of see a little bit of the foundation running right along there. That's the south end of a mobile home that used to be here, and that's part of the concrete that we want knocked out eventually. And here's some more of it. We're going to turn this area here into a parking area for our equipment, and maybe have an equipment shed here at one time in the future. So yeah, that's what we're needing to get rid of. That'll be a project down the line yet. While some of these onion sets are probably too small to be viable for seeds for next year, there are some others that are a little bit bigger over here. Now granted, these haven't had any water this year other than rain and a couple of sprinklings with a irrigation sprinkler, so they're kind of on the small side. But everything deserves a chance to grow, live, and survive. So we're going to give them a whirl next year and see what happens. Who knows? We might become onion farmers yet on this place. And that might be our specialty crop. Have I ever mentioned that I really hate gophers? Yeah, I hate gophers. And here's more gophers. Yeah, More of the little dirty rotten buggers. Anyway, why I'm over here in this neck of the woods, besides picking the wild onions seeds, are all of these. There's the apple finger. Those have spots. Anyway, these little old-fashioned rose bush plants are going to get separated, dug up, and put into pots next spring, and we are going to sell them. They have a very fragrant, beautiful little bloom about the size of an old-fashioned silver dollar, and they smell wonderful. They're a beautiful yellow color when they bloom. So yeah, there's going to be a bunch of these. There's the apple finger. Yeah, there's eyeballs. Anyway, those are going to be for sale next spring. There's really something else that needs to be saved this year, and that is the hollyhock seed pods. These tall weed looking like things have, I destroyed that one. They make these little pods that are just chock full of those little round deals with the little black dots in them. Kind of hard to see on that glove, but those are the seeds. Hollyhocks are a favorite amongst bees and hummingbirds. So if you're looking at helping to save the bee and hummingbird population, I have some seeds for you. They make a real tall plant, kind of almost a hedge, but they are, when they dry down, they aren't real pretty. But by golly, they make a nice blooming plant. They have a flower that looks about, or a leaf that looks about like a geranium. Anyway, I'm going to strip these and try to save, and the only way to strip them is to just kind of crush them and be nasty with them. I'm going to try to save them. You can't really save the pod, but you can save as many of the seeds as you can get. And we're going to plant some down around the creek next year. So, yeah. Anyway, Al, if you didn't catch any this year when you were here and you were talking about it, I got some seeds for you. Just give me a holler. Like most farms in the area, we've always had horses, cows, sheep, and even some pigs here on the place over the years. There's always one animal, though, that always seems to get overlooked and taken for granted, and that's the family dogs. So I broke down the other day while I was in town and bought a pair of nice doggy pillows for them all to sleep on. Yeah, so don't forget your critters, and don't leave them outside locked up in the cold, freezing temperatures. It is supposed to be snowing here in the valley come Saturday, so drive safe, and yeah, make sure your animals are taken care of and prepared and ready for the snow and the cold weather. Now you can see how nice and thick and fluffy and soft this one is. Well, this is the old one. Let me get it here. This is the old one. As you can see, the top of it's been ripped. All the stuffing is coming out of it. Yeah, it is a train wreck. So that thing is going to go away, and it should have been replaced quite some time ago. So if anybody else is needing one of those, $15 at the big orange box store in town. While the weather is good, I decided I'd better get out here and get these little Christmas lights strung up around on the cedar fence. I've got the fence here just about done, and I've got all the fence over along the road done there between the house and that main gate. So yeah, and the house is done and lit up, so now all I got to do is order in 5 different cases of different colors each to replace some of the other light bulbs that are existing around the place here. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget, as always, right down there, yeah, right down there, a little red box that says subscribe on it. Click on that. Click on the bell icon so you can get notified every time there's a new video out. And for heaven's sakes, give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. Let us know what you're thinking about these videos in the comments. It always helps. That way we know what you want to see, and we can try to get more of it done for you. Anyway, I'm Farmer Dave, signing out from Nelson Creek Farms. Wishing you all a good day, and catch you later.